Today we're going to make these beautiful laminated stickers. Look at how beautiful they are. So shiny. Let's get started. Okay, so first I want to show you what the project looks like on Silhouette Studio. I'm going to zoom in here real quick so that you can see how these are set up. We have all of the sticker images lined up, and then what I did was give each one of these an offset. And if you're not familiar with offsets, it's a very simple process. You just select the item that you want to give an offset to and click on the offset option here and then give it a number, and then you get this outline around it. I'm going to click cancel here. These are the settings that I use. By the way, I selected all of the images as a group, and then I gave it a 0.125 inch offset with a rounded corner, and then I clicked apply. I'm gonna click cancel now, and then I made sure that none of the images were actually going to be set as cut images on their own. What I actually want to cut is the line where the offset line is. So I selected all of the offsets and I gave it a color of blue, which is the color that I normally use for something that is supposed to be die cut. Now, when we click on send, my machine is not connected yet, but you will see here that everything is looking right? None of the images have blue outlines themselves. The only blue outlines that you see are where the offset lines were. That's exactly what I want. Now let's take a look at cut settings. I have a custom material that I have set up based on another custom material that I have for die cut, but that die cut has different settings because it is the die cut that I use when I am dealing with a regular sticker sheet without any lamination. When you add a layer of lamination, you need to change the settings because it's probably not going to cut all the way through unless you do so. So these are the settings that I landed on. The speed remains at 8. I am using the auto blade, by the way. The force I increased to 20. I am doing 2 passes, and then the blade depth is 4. I did a little bit of back and forth to get the right settings, but these were the settings that ended up actually working really well for me. So that's what we're going to do. First though, we are going to print this and send it to my Epson ET8550 for printing. I'm going to click on print, and then I am going to make sure that my Epson ET8550 is selected, and I have a profile for stickers with vivid color presets, and the only changes there are that I use photo paper glossy, and then I use the color settings as Epson vivid and high quality, which is the highest I can pick. That is ready to be printed, so I'm going to click print and send it to the printer. Then we're going to send it to the cutting machine. So this is the machine that I'm going to be using for lamination. This is a Scotch machine. You feed the paper with lamination paper on it through here, and it comes out this way. Now, the lamination sheets that I'm going to be using are the thermal laminating pouches, 3 millimeters. They come as a single sheet that you're supposed to put your document inside, and then it gets laminated on the back and on the front. But obviously, since we're doing a sheet of stickers, I'm going to be putting the lamination sheet only on one side so that only that side gets pressed and laminated, which you'll see in just a little bit. So here is the printout with the stickers. You're supposed to put the matte side facing down, right on top of the design, so that the shiny side is the one that ends up on the outside of your stickers. I also want to point out that I went ahead and cut the lamination sheet to a size that is slightly smaller than an 8.5 by 11 so that I can comfortably put it here and pass it through the lamination machine without any problems. That's what I'm going to do right now. You have to be steady and don't hesitate about this. Just let it go through. There it goes. Once it takes it, just let it go, because that is going to avoid having any issues with the coverage of the lamination sheet. If you start moving it around as it goes through, you may end up with bubbles. Now, I have done this a couple of times and I have never had any issues with my Silhouette Studio machine being able to read the registration marks at all through the lamination sheet. So I've had no problem with that. This is a Silhouette Cameo 5A and it is the plus version, but I'm pretty sure the same will be for the Silhouette 5A regular size. Okay, this is done. Now we can turn this off and put this away. And then the next step is to send this through the cutter. Okay, here I have the laminated sticker sheet. I'm going to put it on the mat very carefully, making sure it's lines up with the lines over here. Good. It becomes quite thick once you put the lamination sheet on. So make sure that you use something like this. I think this is called a brayer, or anything that will allow you to flatten it against the sticky mat so that you have no problems when this is cutting. You don't want this thing moving around when it starts to cut, because then you're going to have errors. Now I'm going to feed it into the Cameo machine. Make sure it's aligned properly here. Good. I'm going to press that button. And now I am going to send the cutting job to the machine. Okay, let's spit out this sticky mat. And this is probably the most satisfying portion of this whole process, which is when you take this off. When you remove this and your stickers stay behind. There's a little bit of an issue here. Interesting, where some of it was left behind. I might need to adjust my blade depth to prevent this from happening, because the last time I tested this worked really well. So maybe I need some more depth there. But the others look great. I am sure that you can adjust these settings in Cricut. I'm sure that you can tell it to give it more pressure, because I used to have a Cricut and I know that that was an option. But check out this beautiful laminated stickers. They're amazing, and they're so easy to make, really, once you have all these settings in place. So easy to do. I'm gonna put the wonky one here as well with a little lap. I'm gonna cut that later, but these are perfectly usable and ready to be given away to some friends. Well, I hope that you enjoyed this video and this process. It's actually quite simple. I will post the names of all of the products, the Scotch machine and paper that I am using, so that you can decide if you want to use that or not. Until the next video, thank you.